This is the Carburetor Show. I'm live right now. And we're going to be covering a lot of things. There's a whole bunch of shit going on. And I'm going to tell you the truth here today. And I'm your host, Gary, the Vegan Carburetor. There's a lot of bad stuff going on out there. Let's see. Well, we're going to be talking about this. I'm going to be taking questions. You need to know the truth. In the sea of misinformation going on out there, especially on the internet, you need to know this. This is your duty as someone who is alive on this planet. This is your time. We all need to step up right now to save our civilization. Alright, got a lot to cover. We can get into it now. And I'm gonna get this video up for you too. Pretty good. I'll do that while we're watching some news. I got two computers and a TV. Yep, I prepared for over an hour and I'm still not ready. So bear with me, have some patience, because this is going to be one of the best things you ever see. Oh, speaking of which, I got to make sure I'm actually on the internet. All right, let's check the comments. There's the comment. It's Vegan Jerry. He came back just in time for this. Hey Jerry, how's it going? How is my audio and video? I haven't done a live video in months. So yeah, I'll put on the TV for a minute. I'll get everything ready. And then we're going to hear a lot of things. We're going to hear from Cheetah. And various people on the TV. And some video on the internet. A real news site, I think. Yeah. And I have some comments you're not going to hear very much. Almost nobody's got the guts to just tell it like it is. But it is getting better, and we're going to hear some of that. Yeah, so stay there. You can just see what I can get here. Audio's low. Okay. It's probably just me. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Got some day old footage, and this is going on right now. So who knows what's going to happen here. All right, this is spontaneous mostly, even though it took me an hour to get this all ready. I don't have a script much. Wrote down some things, but no script like Vegan Cheetah. That would be just too difficult. To try to keep your story straight. I don't need to do that because I don't have a story. I'm going to tell it like it is. 50 years of wisdom here. But I don't look 50, do I? That's because I know things.
Government, what would you say to the President of the United States directly, face to face, if you had a chance?
No, right now I think our community is still dealing with an active investigation. Our community is dealing with the major loss of our community. I think our community needs a little bit of time to deal with this. We don't need the president to come to our community right now as we are still dealing with this active situation, which requires a lot of work on behalf of the federal government, the state government, and of course our local governments that are taking care of our community.
So just to clarify that, sir, would the president be welcome? Would you welcome the president of El Paso, or is he not welcome there from your perspective?
I think the president coming here at this time would be a distraction for our community. I think it's important that we are here for the families that are receiving the information about their loved ones that have been killed. I do request that the president ensures that the federal government provides resources and that the agencies are readily available for our community. But I think the president coming to our community at this point would be a distraction. I say that because in his speeches throughout his campaign, one...
It's been a lot of bullshit. He's not a politician. He doesn't care.
That he actually made here in El Paso were very hurtful to our community. This is a Latino community, a majority Latino community.
Yeah, we're going to hear from President Trump too. And I'm going to analyze word for word what he's saying for people who still don't get it. And no one analyzes him the way I do.
And he has made...
Let's see what else. What comes next here? Stock market. Well, that's important. Yes, he spoke a little yesterday and gave a speech today. I'm going to cover that and his suggestions for what we should do about this violence, this culture of violence and American shootings, which are happening on a daily basis now. Even though most don't make the news, only the big ones make the news. But there's a small one just about every day. And that adds up. So one thing I want to convey to you, to everyone, is that you could see this as a war. It's not like other wars, but people are dying every day through violence. People killing each other. And the reason they're doing it spells out that this is a war. It's real small right now for a war, but this is growing. We have to face that.
Have to begin with breaking news from Wall Street, where the markets are seeing their worst drop of the year as the trade war between the United States and China intensifies. Let's take a look at the big board. This isn't actually the worst it's been all day. The Dow was down nearly 900 points just a few minutes ago. We are slightly off session lows right now, which is a good thing, but that is still more than a 3% loss on the Dow. Let's take a look at the other indices. You know, I always like to look at the S&P 500. It's probably got more to do with what your portfolio looks like. Same thing, though. It's down a similar percentage point. The NASDAQ is down by even a greater percentage. than the Dow and the S&P 500. Joining me now to take a closer look at this is somebody I turn to whenever things require an explanation. And the question for you, Bill Griffith from CNBC, is what's different? Why is today different? We've had this trade war for a while. What has happened that has caused investors to get this spooked?
I'll tell you what's
What?
different.
What has happened?
Currencies this time, Ali. Up to this point, it has been just between the U.S. and China. They keep upping their tariffs.
Okay. Let's move on. But I'll tell you one thing about the stock market. It'd be the shortest advice you ever hear, and the best. And I'm giving this away for free. And this video is not going to be monetized. There's no fucking way. So I got to rely on donations, Patreon, stuff like that. Best advice: don't invest in the stock market. It's a scam. And it's really volatile. You know, the average person is not in. How do you word it, man? You're not on the inside. Insider trading. Well, not necessarily. Out on the street, out at the White House. Let's see here.
With just 32
Well, I wanted to cover him later. We'll keep it like that. And okay. So Vegan Cheetah, he's making a lot of videos about the shooting too. And I wasn't going to show any of him, but then I saw 30 seconds of it while leaving a comment. So you saw what he looks like, okay? He's white, and he's got that white degenerate look. He's got a shirt that says degenerate. So that's not me calling names. He acts like one. He is, yes, he is suggesting that, he's done this for years, suggested that shootings are false flags, which means they're not as they seem. He's saying they're organized by the government to create a reaction, political reaction and public reaction. And this is the same kind of crap you hear from Alex Jones. He's the most famous person who does that. And I just want to say to people, especially people who know Charles, that's the name he's going by now, Charles Marlowe. I'm focusing on him instead of other people. There's a lot of people who do this, believe this. Focus on him because I've known him for about 3 or 4 years. And in so many different areas, he just comes up with the bad, evil position. And he got in trouble for doing this once. Remember the time when it really seemed like he was reading from a script, apologizing? We've seen this from another YouTuber. I have. Where that person, Freely, actually said, I have to read this because it's part of the court settlement. And she has gotten strikes, and he keeps changing channels, which means, I guess, he got in enough trouble on one channel. And it's not for his political opinion. Social media does not punish people for their political views. They have rules. Cheetah's breaking the rules here. He is... So he believes that it's fake. We're going to hear a clip here and see for sure. I only heard 30 seconds. So, we'll see. But by suggesting that this is fake and the government is doing it, when you consider this environment where we've got people who are shooting people because of politics. Now we got Cheetah on the internet saying the government's doing this. What do you think's going to happen? What could happen? There's shooters. There's shooters out there every day, which means there's more people out there that are going to become shooters every single day in the future. If they're here in Cheetah, or they might become shooters. Cheetah could be bringing that on and inciting attacks against the US government. You can see why he's gotten into some trouble. But right now he's making videos every day. And how is he being allowed to continue doing this? Well, more on that after the clip. So, this should be it. Yesterday,
your face is your moneymaker, so why would you pair it with cheap plastic? And why does some plastic cost?
The Charles Marlowe Show, the truth about Texas and Ohio, NWO takeover of America. It's interesting the words he did not use in that title. Nothing that could get him demonetized, but oh, and there is an ad right here. I'm really surprised that this video hasn't been demonetized. So yeah, he doesn't mention shooting, just Texas and Ohio. No word about Trump. I think that word will get you into trouble, get you demonetized. NWO, well, but everybody knows what that is. You don't have to spell out New World Order. And I guess that's not, well, it shouldn't get you suspended or a strike, but it should get you demonetized. You know, if the A word and the R word and the T word gets you demonetized, then why would advertisers be okay with talking about the New World Order and the deep state trying to enslave the planet? We're talking about guns? Oh, we don't want to advertise on that. So
It's $500.
how his video starts here.
CMC Broadcasting, welcome back to the Charles Marlowe Show for the now 13th episode. Soon enough, I'm going to stop probably, announcing which episode it actually is because we're so far into this already. But this is now episode 13. Now, there's no numerology or BT money magic coming, or not money magic, number magic coming from me. So this just happens to be a coincidence that we're reporting on two tragic events over the weekend on the 13th episode of the Charles Marlowe show. But I did find it kind of ironic how that lined up.
Yeah, I was just remembering. I think Alex Jones, maybe? Maybe he's the one who said that the whole thing isn't even happening. That no one was killed. These people that were supposedly killed, that they don't exist. These parents are actors and stuff like that. Yeah, Alex Jones has gotten pretty popular doing that. The crazier you sound, the more attention, and there's going to be people out there that'll follow you, because we do have a big mental health crisis in the world. Back to Cheetah.
Considering the number 13 has such a superstitious connotation to it, but just a coincidence, nothing, no number magic or numerology on my end over here. We've got a lot that we've got to talk about, because over the weekend there were two major events that have unfolded. First, we started with the event in Texas, which I did an entire broadcast on last night. Excuse me, I just had some carbonated beverages. And then, to all of our surprise, our shock, and our horror, we woke up this morning and there was another major event. Is that I disavow the violence. I condemn it. I condemn anyone.
Got the fixed sensor right here.
He's saying
We're gonna plug that right into the port,
because
and
that's
through the
what
sensor, it's gonna
people
pull
want
up what's
Trump
wrong.
to say.
Here we go. Ooh, one issue found. It's exactly the same.
Or anybody that has this.
And yeah, if you don't say this for YouTube, they just might pull off your channel. Am I suggesting that Charles is racist? Well, I haven't actually seen any clear sign of racism, except subtly all this right-wing stuff. He does talk about races a lot, though.
Level of hatred in their heart, any level of hatred in their heart for Americans, immigrants, migrants, illegals. We can be opposed to mass migration from the third world without hating people or without resorting to violence. We can be opposed.
Now see, this is the new Charles, not the old Cheetah. He didn't sound like this before, but he does now, because of the trouble he got into.
Opposed to the NWO replacement agenda that has been pretty much thrusted upon Americans against our consent, without being full of hate, without wanting to act out in violence. So I disavow the.
So this new world order stuff, there's no proof of it. There isn't even good evidence that this is a hoax or perpetrated by our government, like there's evidence for them doing it with 9/11. But he never talks about that. Matter of fact, this conspiracy theory that these shootings are rigged, set up, it reminds me of the moon landing hoax theory, which I was covering last week, and I discovered last week that it's probably the moon landing's probably real, because all of the theories and all the things that people point to of it being not real are they just don't pan out. They end up being due to ignorance. Oh, that brings us to racism, which is all based on ignorance. So I don't disagree with conspiracy theories, just some of them. And there's just no good evidence for this one.
The violence, I condemn the violence. There's no room for it. Obviously, there's no room for this in America. But unfortunately, this is the reality that we are living, ladies and gentlemen. And I will let everybody know. And I've expressed a lot of this on my Parler platform. Make sure to go and follow me on Parler at Charles Marlowe. If you're on a desktop, it's parler.com. Capital T that we see in Europe or in the United States. Imported into the West, and that's why ideology. And it was an ideology that had been imported into the West, and that's why we were seeing these type of events. Capital T that we see in Europe or in the United States, where they tried to push the lone wolf theory when it came to the truck attacks, the knife attacks, the airport. Events. I think remember the airport event in Istanbul. They tried to push the lone wolf theory, but we knew that wasn't true. We knew it was an ideology. And
see, how does he know? From listening to Hannity, Alex Jones. There's people out there, you'll find people on my videos last week saying, yeah, this proves right here, watch this video, proves we never landed on the moon. And it doesn't prove it. There's a lot of dumb people out there and a lot of crazy people over here.
It was an ideology that had been imported into the West, and that's why we were seeing these type of events. Well, I don't think this is an ideology.
Only in the United States. It's a culture. People see other people doing it, and then they say, okay, so I'll add to this. It's like... there's a lot of people out there that were willing to be a shooter, but not if they were the only ones, because that doesn't do any good. See, they've got an army now, and they've got, what else do they got? They've got a leader. They got someone high up. They got many people high up. That's why the shootings are increasing. Well, not just Trump, but the crisis at the border. Yes, I acknowledge it. We've always had a problem with the border and immigration. Does need to be fixed, and the crisis has gotten worse. We'll get more into that, and that's another factor in the increase in shootings.
The ideology of white nationalism it's a governmental psyop. It does not even exist, and even if it did, the idea that white nationalists in America have any power whatsoever, never mind the power of the White House itself, is preposterous. But this is not an ideology, okay? This is not, if we're going to talk about the lone wolf theory or we're going to talk about the network, it's not an ideology that is causing this. These, in my opinion, this is intelligence community operations, and the intelligence community are the ones that are terrorizing all of us. Right? This is about Americans.
Did I hear that right? Is my screen still? Is it frozen? I can't. It looks frozen. I look frozen there. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Did he just call our government terrorists? Well, I've done that. But when it comes to other countries, we terrorized Iraq, sure. But suggesting that our U.S. government is terrorizing its own people, well, well, maybe at the border. That's not our people, though. Right. Okay. That is a big accusation. This reminds me to check out my comments. I'm not going to be like Cheetah. I'm not going to hide from comments. There's a lot of them here. It's pretty good comment. Let's see here. Gary, they're coming for people's guns. No, they are not. They never have. It's just not a thing. See, I know I was going to get comments like that. They've been coming to our doors for guns. They've been on their way for like 15 years. Since Alex Jones hit the airwaves. Oh, I forgot. I was in the middle of mentioning. So is my video okay? I want to be on video here. Yeah, it looks okay. It's been too long. Okay. So I wanted to say about this Cheetah person that, Alex Jones is the big person, and I've known of Alex Jones before Cheetah, long before Cheetah ever heard of the New World Order or the Illuminati. I've known that word going back maybe 17 years. I was listening to Alex Jones on the radio on the Art Bell Show back in 2001. That's before that. Well, that's before he. I was going to say that's before I knew he was a total loon. Well, that was before he was a total loon. He started getting crazier around 2011, 12. Just went off the deep end. I saw some of his movies, and I agreed with most of the stuff until he got to global warming. Then he just sounded like a conservative. Okay, more comments. Vegan Cheetah is going to push the limits until they cart him off to the loony bin. Well, at least he won't be homeless anymore. Great to see a live stream from you. It's been too long. You ever heard of crisis actors? Yeah, I heard it from Cheetah. I've heard it on the news. There's no such thing, though. See, I haven't actually heard of one being proven or exposed. Never. See, that's another thing I want to say. The reason I concluded that the moon landing was not fake is because it just couldn't be faked. You'd be able to see that it was fake because it's too huge, and there would be plot holes that you'd be able to see. And the same thing's true for these shootings. It's just too large scale. There'd be a slip up somewhere. And these cheetahs, these extremist people who like to believe in the craziest stuff, they want to believe that, yeah, we got the proof right here. But no, we don't. We don't. It's not there. Can't hear you, TV? Yeah. I forgot about the mic. Gotta move the mic around. Yep. Got a donation from Vegan Dairy. Thanks a lot, Dairy, for your support. Yes, haven't followed Marlo for a while. Yeah, who was gone for a while? Yeah, I wonder what that was. I guess he isn't homeless anymore. Okay. So a little more of this guy, this crazy guy. I want to show you a certain part of it that I saw yesterday.
It's not about race. The media is trying to make it about race. The government may be trying to make it about race, but it's not about race. This is about Americans, all Americans. And we are being terrorized, in my personal opinion, from the
By who? See, things get a little crazy if you just don't believe reality. Right? And never have an argument with a flat earther, because they're on a different planet than you. They're on the flat Earth. And they're probably eating the keto diet.
research that I've done and the information that I have, we are being terrorized by the intelligence community, the intelligence agencies, and their networks. And
that's 17 agencies that he is calling terrorists, and CIA, FBI. Is he really doing that?
And their private contractors, their operatives. We're going to get into...
But why? Why? Well, this guy's done the same extreme stuff in our diet community. He was in the vegan community 4 years ago. He did the same crazy stuff. He's also used a lot of drugs. He's been committed a lot of crimes. There's the credit card fraud. He's just a lowly person. So yeah, we have these people in our world, and this is the real problem right here. You're looking at it.
All of it. Something that's kind of interesting that I was thinking about is after these mass events,
and what's ironic is he says these people are doing this and they're suppressing us. This is why they're going after the conservatives on social media. Well, here he is. Not only is he not locked up, but he's being allowed to broadcast on the internet. So where's the New World Order?
we see, they start promoting the blood banks, right? We need people to come and donate blood. We need blood, right? And I'm not saying that they don't.
Reminds me, it's a little known fact. I hinted about it in my dossier video that Trump had a company where they were collecting people's urine through the mail. Send us your urine. It's not a joke. Yeah, I think it was urine analysis. They would analyze it, I guess. At least that's what Trump's telling people. He wants their urine for. And then I guess they diagnose health problems, maybe. So back to the blood donating here. Let's see, where's he going to go with this crazy thing?
Don't need blood for these events, but what I do
Right.
think is interesting is
Why do they really need this blood?
that we know who is involved in ritualistic blood sacrifices up at the very top. We know the practices of drinking blood or using blood as a facial cosmetic for rejuvenation. I think that's something that everybody should keep in mind when they see these advertisements for blood banks, or when they see the media talking about, go give blood, we need more blood. I'm wondering if sometimes these events are used to perhaps collect blood for purposes other than trying to help out the people that were actually affected by these events. Okay, and
Yeah, but everything's on the up and up with the Trump Urine Company. He's never done a video on that, speculating, because he is a right-wing Republican. And those people have shown themselves to just be bad people. They're what's wrong with the planet, not the brown man. So let's cut to 31 minutes in.
the Satanist deep state elite, they're letting us know who did this.
And this is
Your
monetized?
face is your moneymaker. So
There-
why
there's
would you
another
pair it
ad.
with cheap plastic?
An ad.
Why does some plastic cost $500?
An ad comes up just seconds after he says Satanist. What's that? That's some sunglass company. They're okay with this? I would doubt they're going to be okay with this. Yeah, YouTube is on a rampage of demonetizing. They're playing it really safe. Most of my videos are demonetized. The moon landing video, yeah, almost everything. I don't even know why.
Right? It is definitely the work of Satan. And even with the numbers, guys, the numbers that are printed out, all right, I haven't broken it down myself quite yet, but remember, usually in these type of, when we see this kind of stuff in the media, all of these numbers, in one way or another, somehow add up to 666. If anybody can break it down for me and show it, give me a link or something, I'll definitely check it out. And
Oh my God. Numerology is ridiculous. It's not scientific at all. Yeah, you can come up with a number if you put numbers together and play with them. If you have a number in mind, you can reach that number. So it's
Hate has no place in America. We must recognize that the
notice he sounds like he's reading.
dangerous avenue to
No emotion or passion into what he's saying. Just reading.
and perform demented acts. We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are
Oh shit!
mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger, not the gun.
There you go. He just kissed NRA's butt right there. Just, it's not a president's job to do this, to put out propaganda. He has told us, I love the NRA. He's gone to their meetings, given speeches for them, supporting the gun industry over everything else. And now he is now telling, this is not a president. He's now trying to tell people that this is nothing to do with guns. Well, we can make our own decision up. We can decide, not some corrupt asshole. Oh, yeah, okay. More about shootings. Let's see. Yes, there's many reasons for the problem. It isn't just guns exist. Of course not. That's not the entire problem. But it is part of the problem. Border crisis is part of the problem too. It incites violence. See, this is real people. If this was all fake, you would be able to find proof of it. Many reasons for these shootings. And having two major shootings happen at the same time has now actually forced Trump to do something. Got to do something. So he gave a speech today, and he offered some suggestions, and I'm going to take a look at those. But there's two things that were missing. Let's take a look. Picture that I didn't have ready, that I saved last night. Here it is. Here we go. This is from President Trump. You've got to accept that, people. He's the president, and no one's fixing that. It's not being fixed. Who's going to take a stand? What's it going to take? So this is the source. The source is the White House. This is coming from the White House. Now, have you noticed that I notice what's missing from things? I don't just look at the reality and see reality for what it is. I look deeper. I look so deep, I see what's missing. There's two things missing here that should not be. Well, he sort of touches on race, but he doesn't mention race. Yeah, he didn't mention race when he told those people to go back to their countries, Massachusetts. And the Bronx was another country that these people need to go back to. And it's just a coincidence. They were all brown-skinned people. He does that on purpose. He racist people don't come out. When they get a high position, they don't come out and tell you they're racist. Only in private, and that's happened with me. I had a racist friend, and I learned a lot about the nature of racism and how common it is. Another thing missing here is no talk about the weapons that are being used here. Now, we hardly have any gun regulation like we have for everything else. But I acknowledge that even with the gun regulation, like sensible gun regulation that we had under Republican George Bush Sr., and I think even the other Bush too, it wasn't a problem. But even with regulation, that's just the beginning. That's not going to solve the problem. We need to do other things. So let's take a look at what these other things are that Trump was willing to talk about. Number one, identify early warning signs and enlist social media campaigns, companies to help. I agree with that. That is a really good one. We need to do that. Why aren't we doing that? Trump's been president for 2.5 years. This has been a glaring problem, these shootings. And remember when he was talking about banning bump stocks? I'm not sure he ever did. I think maybe he did. It's the least he could do. But he talked about other stuff. He's talked about mental illness. When he spoke the other day, he mentioned mental illness like 3 times at least in the minute that he talked. Continuing to repeat. He repeats stuff because what he doesn't want to say. He mentioned mental illness 3 times in that minute, but he didn't mention racism once. That right there shows you he's a convert racist. Not overt, but convert. He keeps it under the sheets. He's hiding from the topic of racism. That shows you right there that he's racist. Number 2, stop glorifying violence through video games. Well, I do acknowledge that that's a good one to put in there because there's some truth to that. That, yeah, we do numb society, but, and my last video yesterday, no, the day before yesterday, I was calling out a violent music video. The new one by Ariana Grande, which is really strange. I pointed out a lot of strange things, man. She had a shooting at her concert a year ago. And a lot of other weird things. Turning black. And it's just not good to just make light of domestic violence. But I don't think that's the main thing here. These people aren't going around shooting a bunch of people because they don't think it's a big deal. Like violence, murder is not a big deal because they see it a lot. And so, do you really think so? No, I think they're going out and slaughtering people because they know exactly how violent it is. That's what they want. They want to take people out. And who do they want to take out? Well, they say the shooting in Ohio, they don't know the motive yet. They know the motive in El Paso, Texas, right near the border, where a lot of immigrants are bussed in every day to go to school. I was surprised by that. And then they go back to Mexico. So that shooting was racial. The person used the word invasion. Now, where have we heard that word being used before? Let's see. I think I got something here.
To the United States.
So the Texas shooter used the word invasion. These migrants are invading us, and so that's a war word. So he's just joining in the war. He's taking the action that he thinks needs to be taken in a war. So where is he getting that from?
Disease from immigration. Plagues. Other networks talked about plagues coming to the United States and using invasion rhetoric, even though he said he had heard the warnings. You know, a lot of people don't like the word invasion. We have a country that's being invaded by criminals and by drugs. It's an invasion of our country. We have an invasion of drugs, invasion of gangs, invasion of people. We're on track for 1 million illegal aliens to rush our borders. People hate the word invasion, but that's what it is.
Notice the words he doesn't use. But you can dig into his mind to realize why he's not using those words. An invasion of people is what he said. You know, we've already got too many people in the world. We got too many people in New York, where Trump's from. They got to pile people on top of each other in New York. They need to build skyscrapers, 100 stories, because there's no more room for these people. But the invasion is happening down in the desert in Texas. The invasion of people. Oh my God. And these same Republicans and conservatives, like Primal Edge, he wears a shirt that says "Make Babies." He's white, by the way. That might be a factor. And these people, they support having kids if you're white. And these same people say Mexicans are having too many kids. And so who's invading Texas? It's Mexicans. When it's a different race than the white race, they call it an invasion. Trump didn't say Mexicans. He didn't say other races. He knows not to say that. But that's what he's saying. That's what he's thinking. It's ridiculous. His father was in the KKK. It's so ridiculous. There's like 100 examples of why he's racist, and the only reason we have this argument is because denial. Plausible deniability, or just do Trumpism. Just lie. Just pretend you don't hear it, or make something up. Then and for some reason you can get away with that. Okay, let's keep going with Trump's suggestions. The video game thing, it's kind of a straw man argument. You know, kids regularly abuse each other, and that's because they get the impression violence is okay. That's a problem. That's what video games bring about. But they don't bring about terrorism. And yeah, these people are probably have mental issues, but not necessarily. Just because someone has a mental issue doesn't mean that they find a gun and go and kill people. There's a specific reason they're doing this, which brings me back to clear motive in Texas, but they say they haven't confirmed a motive in Ohio. 9 people died. 6 of them were black in Ohio. I don't think that's a coincidence. Okay. Third recommendation is steps he suggested. He's suggesting this stuff, right? But you know, he's talked a big game about a lot of stuff, but he doesn't do anything. He's playing president, but he never wanted to be president. It's all about his ego and his name on buildings. That's the mindset of a billionaire. That's a mental illness. that's like the third one that Trump has. Number 3 is reform mental health policies. Okay, if you got to do that, yes, we always need to be reforming stuff and evolving as life rolls by. Number 4, ensure those who pose a grave risk do not have access to firearms. Ooh, that's bold. But notice he put the word grave in there. Yeah, which means it's never going to happen. Well, how do you... we can't really prove grave risk here, so... Okay, that's the end of that. Next. Number 5. Well, if someone has a grave risk, you know, again, number 4 here. If they pose a grave risk, what does that mean, really? They'd probably be in prison, so they wouldn't have firearms anyway, so that seems like a cop-out, number 4 there. Number 5, ask DOJ to propose legislation ensuring those who commit hate crimes and mass murders face the death penalty. Yeah, I heard this morning. I don't agree with the death penalty on 2 accounts. We shouldn't have it because, for one thing, our court system's not that good. Yeah, a lot of innocent people get convicted. How about fixing that? Another problem with the death penalty is with guilty people, this lets them off the hook. They're out free and clear. And this isn't going to solve the problem. Most of these people want to die. When they commit they're basically committing suicide and taking people with them. Again, another cop-out. Again, forgot about... There it is. So number 5, another cop-out. And it's like he's making this shit up to avoid saying the word guns. Gun reform. Gun regulation. All we're asking, really, all people are asking is they do the least amount and ban assault weapons of war. What if you had a next door neighbor who was experimenting with trying to build a nuclear weapon? Stuff like that. So this is bullshit, people. There's a whole bunch of bullshit going on. More comments. Oh yeah, maybe I got to finish Cheetah. There's something I got to show you. Oh shit. Gary, do you know the camera stream that has frozen? Yeah. Yeah, I was asking about that. Frozen on my end. Yeah, I'll try unplugging it. In the meantime, a little more Cheetah. Wrap this up. Oh, I forgot. There's something I wanted to show you. Hey, Okay. Okay, try the camera again here. I'm gonna bring this home, man. Bring this video home. Just one more comment about this, the death penalty. Yeah, I had something planned for the death penalty. It's like I was saying, it seems like a cop-out. Okay. Still frozen. Oh, I don't need my camera for this. Okay. Yeah, it made me think of a song when Trump used the straw man argument. Oh, death penalty. Yeah, there's something, people. See, I'm suggesting things.
So
guarantee.
It's not a matter of mercy. It's not a matter of law.
It's just a matter of psychos living in the White House who don't care about you and I. Okay, now back to Cheetah. Wrap this up.
Report on that. So what we do know, and this was reported by, I actually saw this from a Laura Loomer post on...
Now he's going to talk about what he does know for sure, but where's his disclaimer that he used to have, that he has used? This is just speculation. He made some definite statements there against the United States government. Also, 17 agencies.
Parlor, the Parlor app, but the Connor Bretz, the Dayton, Ohio perp, he was a registered Democrat and actually voted in 2 Democrat primaries. All right, Fox News played audio.
Fox News, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, using Fox News as a reference. Why'd he got to do that? Trump was supposedly a Democrat too. People, I don't know about that. No, Reagan was a Democrat. And when was this? No. You know what he's trying to say here? See, that's what they do. That's what they do. These people are scum.
And this is very interesting because they're trying to push either the lone wolf theory or the network theory, but when we see initial reports of multiple perps, but then the FBI swings in, gets on the scene, and then pushes the one perp narrative. Well, just like we had the El Paso, the mayor and the police department reporting multiple perps. Also in Dayton, Ohio, Fox News played audio of the police, and you could hear them on radio saying that they were looking for a second perp.
So?
And I did post a screenshot of that on my Parler, so be sure to check out my Parler feed because there's going to be a lot of images. Unfortunately, I don't do a lot of post-production on my my broadcasts here, but on Parler you will be able to see a lot of these because I just like to get. Number 3 is the migrants, and this happens to be the Somalian migrants. A lot of them in Ohio, and also I would probably estimate that these new Central African, Congolese, Angolan migrants that are being brought into the border, some of them, when they're fanned out, a lot of them may be going to Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. And let's also not forget that Ohio is a major voting influence state, much like Texas and California. So I think we're going to see more of this kind of. I mean, I hope we don't, but every time I say that, it happens again. So I'm just like, I feel like they're trying to socially engineer us and condition us to just sort of expect this kind of thing. But it seems to.
So anyway, how do we save society here? Because it needs saving, people. Every great civilization in history is gone. What happened? Something happened to them. They got destroyed. And you know, it's usually they destroyed themselves. They got to a point where things just fell apart. We are in some serious trouble. This is a bigger crisis than 9/11. We thought we were going to have this terrorism from the Middle East, but that didn't really materialize the way we were worried about. But here we got domestic terrorism. From within, we are destroying ourselves. Why do people fight with each other. Why can't we get along? You know, we have this society. We're not living in the jungle. We have a society where if we work together, we make all our lives better. Yet we continue to just fight among ourselves. So what can we do? Well, here's something I did yesterday. I took a stand. Now, I might be taking a risk by showing you this. Cheetah's video here. And zooming in, I clicked report. See right here? There's a button if you want to report the video. Not enough people do this. But hey, some conservatives on Twitter did this with me. That was my last video. They got me kicked off. They got me suspended from Twitter for a whole week. Let's see, what did I do? Oh, they caught me on a technicality. They don't care what it is. If they can get you, if they can knock you down, that's what they want to do. It's kind of like virtual shooting. Shooting somebody's account down. That's a right-wing thing. They don't care about other people. Right, it's just some people that they're ruining the planet for everyone else. They don't care about people. They have sociopathic personality. And so they see others as the enemy. And that's the good people. They have it all twisted around. So report this video. What is the issue? And so you get a list to pick from. So I took a look at this list, looking for, let's see, how does this, he's promoting violence against the US government. So I scrolled down the list here and I came to promotes terrorism. I've never seen that one before. So I'm going to go with that one. That is exactly what it looks like he's doing. Timestamp at 31 minutes I put in there. And additional information. Charles is spreading rumors about the US government having a secret agenda against Americans. And on and on. He's done so much bad shit on YouTube. He's had strikes before and recently switched channels again. Then but it's been about a day. Almost a day. Still up. Well, it takes time for YouTube to get to it, and it helps to have multiple reporting. So, get my drift. Let's see. Let's take a look at my script here. See what else I wanted to say. Yeah, I got that. Oh yeah, Trump also talked about El Paso and the Ohio town being incredible places with great people. That made me think. So, a few days ago, Yeah, I forgot about that line there. Terrible choice, being free. Yes, we have to be careful with giving away our freedoms. And conservatives are just going overboard with that. You know, most people think it's perfectly fine to have gun regulation. It's just these fringe people that get sucked in by the propaganda. So why isn't the government following what most people want? It's real simple. The swamp. Remember that swamp that Trump said he was going to get rid of? He's all up to his ankles, up to his knees, in the NRA. He's got swamp all over him. He brings in the swamp. We've seen this. Don't need to go over that. Yeah, just a few days ago. So yesterday, he called these cities incredible places, but it made me think about a few days ago when he was calling Baltimore something else. Basically a shithole. It's infested. Why don't you black people, he says, why don't you black people go back to your black places and fix those places before you interfere with white places? That's basically what he's saying. But he doesn't use those words. Right, he avoids those words so he can continue to say, I'm the least racist person. And he was attacking a few other cities too. And they're basically in Democratic states. Say Texas is a Republican red state. So incredible places there. These two incredible cities that just had Trump supporters show up there and shoot a bunch of people. Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, you know, it's interesting how things were just fine on Friday before these shootings happened. And we were just enjoying Ariana Grande's new video where she suddenly shows herself attacking people and shooting a woman with a bow and arrow. And then 14 hours later was the Texas shooting. And then the next day was the Ohio shooting. Almost 50 people were hit by bullets with those two shootings. Oh, and I just remembered something else I wanted to bring up. Well, I have it written down, but so yeah, when Republicans say, if see, look at the wordage. This happens a lot in the diet circles. Lots of scamming in the diet matrix. So these Republicans say, if we take away guns, it would make it easier for shooters. Yeah. Yes, it would. If we took away guns, which we're not doing. We're not going to take away guns. We're not. Well, first of all, okay, first of all, the Democrats are not calling to take away guns. And secondly, it already seems like it's easy for shooters. It happens every day. This shooter in Texas, had me thinking, because it was in Texas, this shooter, it's strange that this shooter had it so easy, was able to shoot about 35 people. It makes me wonder, because Texas has a lot of guns. Matter of fact, they have open carry, which means you can carry a gun around anywhere just a bit and have it visible. And so where was the good guys with the guns? That Republicans I was talking about. And I think Trump's mentioned it. A lot of people have said, even respected Republicans say, the solution to a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Well, in that Walmart, that place was packed Saturday morning. And there had to be maybe 100 or more people, good guys with guns. So what happened? They didn't stop this guy. Matter of fact, no public people stopped him. It was police that ended up stopping him. And one theory, so that idea shot. And one theory why that the good guys with guns don't solve the problem is because how do they find the shooter? Where everybody's carrying a gun. And it might have been hard for the police to find the actual shooter. Anyway, this big shithole crisis we've got going on here. It's a complex one. This is complicated. All we're asking is for the government to start working towards solutions. Trump comes up with his list. But is anything going to come of this? Because nothing came out of all the other rhetoric. It's like every president, just about every president. In case you're young and you heard Trump talking about how we're going to go to the moon, go back, we're going to stay. Maybe you're too young to remember that George W. Bush said he gave the same speech in 2003. And back then I said, I was old enough to know, that is just bull crap. It's just words. It's just a speech. It's not going to happen. The U.S. is in too much of a mess. We're in debt. The shuttle program was ending because it was too expensive. We got this new terrorism thing going on. We're not going to the moon. It's just political bull crap. Now here's Trump saying it. These people don't care. You want to see people who care?
In this country. So, you know, I don't know what kind of question that is.
That is presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke yesterday in Texas, where 20 people were gunned down in a domestic terror attack, a hate crime fueled by white nationalism. Hours later, another mass shooting in Ohio. In all, nearly 30 dead, dozens wounded in a nation rife with weapons of war and short on the moral fortitude to do anything about it. Welcome to Morning Joe. It is Monday, August 5th. With us, we have MSNBC contributor Mike Barnicle, White House reporter for the Associated Press, Jonathan Lemire, professor at Princeton University, Eddie Glaude Jr., historian, author of The Soul of America and Rogers Professor of the Presidency at Vanderbilt University, John Meacham, former FBI special agent and MSNBC contributor Clint Watts, and Washington bureau chief for USA Today, Susan Page. So it's come to the point, as one person observed on Twitter.
In the words of Twitter. See, these are people who care. These are not you crazy people. Mostly Democrats. Sure, there's some Republicans who are not beholden to the NRA and are willing to take a stand. See, we're not asking to go all out again on war on guns. We're just asking for something. For something, for some real effort to solve this problem. And Republicans make a good point when they bring up, the camera has frozen again. Okay, when they bring up the fact that guns aren't the source of the problem, they're suddenly interested in prevention of finding the source, like Marianne Williamson was talking about. Even Democrats aren't big on prevention. This whole country isn't. That's why we got so many sick, fat people. Notice Marianne Williamson, at age 67, looks really healthy and thin. That's because she eats healthy, natural foods, plants, raw fruits. Prevention. They don't care about prevention. Only if it saves the NRA will they look at prevention. But then they're not ending up doing anything. You know what prevention would be? Is for those Republicans to stop being racist and stop promoting hatred against other people. Oh, froze again. Okay. I think this is a sign. It's time to wrap this up. Yep. Take one more look at the comments. Oh, yeah, there's more comments coming in. Getty has fine hair. It's okay. How do you feel about Atholism? I've never seen that word before. Okay, Gary, come back to it. Ariana is not to blame. I agree. I wasn't saying that. I'm saying violence on TV will numb people with in terms of domestic violence. We got a big problem with domestic violence, and especially with kids. Yeah, there's plenty of occasions where I've been hit. It's not okay. But yeah, violence on TV is not what's causing people to go out and shoot people. I said that. I'm calling to take away guns and prevent further sales of guns. Take away. You are? Well, send Trump to the moon. Yeah. She looks amazing at 67. Tulsi's gonna be banging at 67. Talking about race from the left or the right is not productive. What do you mean, talking about it? People have a problem with race. They have always had a problem with race and any differences. It's in our wiring to fear differences. What we need to do is talk more openly about race. We need to teach racism in school, in elementary school. This is what we could be doing. We could be teaching what happens with people. We can create a better society and actually teach people how to get along and maybe make it so that people don't have hard lives and end up poor, end up going to gangs and creating stereotypes. But we don't do that. Yes, treat people as individuals. That should be taught. But we don't teach this kind of stuff. We teach writing, reading, writing, arithmetic. Okay. So we can't just lock away all our bad human instincts and just pretend they don't exist. Hiding from ourselves. Hiding our bad nature from ourselves behind the lock and key.
Lock and key. We don't want to be victims, on that we all agree. So we lock up the killer instinct and throw